In Invincible, after the Viltrumites sneak onto Earth and Thragg makes an agreement between him, Mark, and Nolan to basically call a truce for hundreds of years, Cecil eventually gives Omni Man a moon base as he exiles him and makes him the official watcher of the Viltrumite race. But unbeknownst to either Nolan or Cecil at the time, outside of the base watching and hearing everything is Grand Regent Thragg. Now, I've gotten a lot of comments about how I refer to Thragg as the king of the Viltrumites, and his official title is Grand Regent, but Grand Regent is someone who acts in place of the king because the king isn't able to act himself, or really someone that's sort of like an in-between king, if that makes sense. In every sense, Thragg is the ruler of his people even after the Viltrumite War, but something is wrong. As Nolan is hugging Debbie celebrating their new home, suddenly, out of nowhere, a massive hole forms in the base as Thragg comes ripping through, tackling Nolan through the base as Debbie gets sucked out into the vacuum of space. In that moment, Nolan headbutts Thragg as hard as he can in the nose, rushing to save his wife, as the moment he gets a hold of Debbie, Thragg gets a hold of Omni-Man's cape and he slams the two of them onto the ground as panic starts to fill Nolan's heart. No, I have to get Debbie out of this somehow. This can't be happening. In that moment of desperation, Omni-Man spots an airlock and throws Debbie into it as it closes behind her, and she's finally able to take a breath of air once she's done coughing. She'll be feeling that throw in the morning and has a few cuts and bruises, but it seems like she'll be okay. Off in space, Omni-Man telepathically talks to Thragg, saying, "We had a truce. Why have you done this? My wife could have died." Thragg responds that she's of no concern to him, and this sends Nolan off the deep end as he rushes towards the Grand Regent and says, "I pose no threat to you. We had an agreement." And it's there where this entire story begins to change, as Thragg catches his fist, telling Nolan that he has no idea what kind of threat he truly poses, because now it's time for Thragg to tell Nolan the truth about his origins, in a page similar to the one where Omni-Man tells Mark about planet Viltrum. Thragg says that Viltrum was a paradise for millennia, but that came to an end when the great traitor Thetis killed their ruler Lord Argal in cold blood. This shouldn't have been the end of the Empire. After all, Argal had numerous heirs that could have taken up the throne, but all of their identities were kept extremely secret so that the many enemies of the Empire could never find them. However, it seems like they were kept too secret. As the years went on and their search for these missing heirs continued, some on Viltrum decided this was a pointless effort, instead deciding that the strongest among them should lead them, as they began to wipe out all of the weaker, potentially smarter, and more cultured Viltrumites for hundreds of years. This ended with Thragg, the strongest of them all, leading their race into the future as unbeatable warriors. But at the end of the day, his role is just to find Argal's rightful heir and pass kingship on to him. Thragg spent years looking for this final heir, but then the virus hit their planet and everything fell into even more chaos. After leading his people through all that, imagine his surprise when he met Nolan working with Thetis himself, and when he realized that Nolan, the son of Argal, was the true king of the Viltrumite race.